Hi everyone, Lisa here, and I am doing my video upload for the month of April. And for those of you who don't know, uh, uh, I have committed myself to doing a video upload once a month to all of my social media accounts to just be more transparent and to get to know you guys a little bit more this year. I feel like a lot of us can kind of live behind a shield um, or a mask, and we don't really get to know each other. And I feel like it's so important, especially on my social media accounts, to really network and to really get to know you guys, and in turn, share any knowledge that I have with you all and things that have helped me. And fortunately, I've gotten a lot of good feedback from you guys that have been watching my videos this year, and I'm very happy that I'm helping in some small way, which is so important to me because I do want to interact with you guys, and I do want to get to know you guys more, and I also want to share, any knowledge that I have with you all, so that it can help you in your day-to-day life. And so today we're going to be discussing internal locus of control. And I chose this subject because I feel like it's so relevant to where we are in life right now. You know, with everything going on with COVID-19 and coronavirus, has taught a lot of us to really consider where we're at in life and where we're going. And it has also made us really sit down and think about, what are we doing? How are we improving ourselves? And at least it has for me. I mean, we've all had a lot of time to sit in the past month. Obviously, a lot of us are stuck at home, and we've had a lot of time to think. And so I felt like this topic was so relevant for what we're all kind of collectively going through. And so I just wanted to share this topic with you guys. And before we get started in discussing internal locus of control and how that is so important, I also wanted to briefly share some people that I've been listening to recently, some new podcasters. One being Stu Massengale, who is a career coach strategist with Tony Robbins. And his podcast is called Finding Direction. And let me tell you guys, the past month, I have really been trying to get in tune with myself and who I am at my core. And listening to this podcast has been so helpful in my learning, and also just reaffirming certain parts of me and who I am and who I want to be. And I want to share it with you guys. I'm going to put the link below, and I'll also tag him in this video as well, so you guys can follow him and even listen to his podcast. He has amazing topics, all which are very relevant to who I am at my core, which is why I totally am a big supporter of his podcast. And so I want to share that with you guys as well. So as we go on into our discussion today, again, about internal locus of control, I want to talk about the definition. Okay, so the definition of internal locus of control, it actually stems from a Latin term called loci, which means location of occurrence. Okay, and so when we think of location of occurrence, we're thinking about ourselves internally. Okay, and we're thinking about things that are going on inside of us that other people don't necessarily see, but that they may feel. We're talking about being in different environments and maybe not necessarily knowing how to process or make the proper decisions due to your perception or this narrative that you've created in your mind. Okay, and all of this kind of stems back to our thought patterns. But before we go into thought patterns, again, I want to emphasize the importance of, one, knowing the definition of locus of control, which is the location of occurrence, and then two, I wanted to tell you a little bit about who came up with this theory. So Julian Rotter, who was an American psychologist in the early 1900s, came up with this theory called internal locus of control. And Julian really came up with this theory, and there's two parts of the theory. And his beliefs are that there are two parts of there's two types of personalities, and everyone falls in those two types. And so, in order to assess these personality types, he created a questionnaire assessment that determines at the end whether or not you are an internal or external personality type. Now, external personality types are those personality types that tend to blame others and blame things around them for things that happen in their lives. Okay, they don't really take a lot of responsibility for what's going on in their lives. Okay, then we have internal locus of control, or personality types. And internal personality types are personality types that tend to blame themselves and tend to look at themselves as the reason as to why they're not where they want to be. Now, research says that internal personality types are the most healthy personality types because you're in control of your narrative. And that really resonated with me because I'm a big believer in being in control of your narrative and being in control of where you want to go in life, and where you want to be and who you want to be. And I think it's important to really take control of some of the thoughts and the things that we tell ourselves as humans, as women of color. We need to really pay attention to how we're speaking to ourselves, because how we're speaking to ourselves, okay, is creating our environment. And if you want to control your environment, you have to first control your thoughts, okay? Everything that's in your head, you have to control, okay? And there are techniques that we use as a therapist that I have used with patients in the past to gain control of their narrative or gain control of their life in the direction of their life. And one of those techniques is called CBT. And some of you probably have heard about CBT, but CBT is cognitive behavior therapy. And what cognitive behavior therapy does is forces you to really look into your thoughts and your thought patterns and how your subconscious plays into your thought patterns. Okay, and so with CBT, especially in therapy, you really focus on the thoughts that you're having. So if you're having negative thoughts, you're going to create a negative narrative. You're going to create a negative environment, and you're going to kind of live in this perception of negativity. And in order to get out of this perception of negativity is to take control of your thoughts, okay? And taking control of your thoughts is not easy. It's a practice. It's kind of like a marathon. You got to keep working on it, okay? But for instance, having negative thoughts. So an example of a negative thought could be, I am the worst at playing softball. And because you believe you're the worst at playing softball, you kind of create this narrative and you kind of start living that narrative, right? You kind of start acting like, I'm not really the best. I don't really care. I'm not learning anything. It's whatever. And in cognitive behavior therapy, you really are challenged to take these thoughts that you're having, break them down, and to modify them, and to modify them in a way that they're more optimistic. And I truly believe this is the key to taking control of your narrative. So along with controlling your internal being, okay, and finding direction, you first have to take control of your thoughts, because that's going to be the most important thing, okay? And I want you guys to remember that and take that with you. Controlling your thoughts is controlling your narrative, okay? And so one of the first steps in recognizing negative thoughts is understanding how your subconscious feelings play into your negative thought patterns, okay? So taking a look at how you're reacting to certain situations, how your body language is, right? What are your thoughts? What are maybe the tone that you're using? Really looking into the subconscious things that go along with your thought patterns and fixing that and working on that. You also need to understand how anxiety and worry plays into negative thought patterns. If you are constantly ruminating and worrying and anxious about various things, you're not going to have enough time to sit and think about how to change your narrative, okay? And maybe that's something that needs to be addressed in therapy. But recognizing what thoughts are causing you worry and anxiety and taking those thoughts, modifying it, and modifying how your narrative is, and making your narrative what you want it to be, not what others think it should be, not what your mom and dad said it should be, but taking control of your narrative, okay? Taking control of your entire being is the most important thing. And from there, we begin to come to our senses. So once we've recognized what things worry us, what things create anxiety, how we're creating negative thought patterns, then we can really begin to see who we are at our core and begin to change those things, okay? And it takes time. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort. I'm not gonna lie, it does. And it's gonna take a lot of practice. And it's important to choose your perception, control your perception, and control the narrative. Because who wants someone else controlling their narrative, right? You don't want that. So that's the tip of the month. Turning and making your narrative what you want it to be. Tuning into your internal locus of control. I actually did the Julian Rudder questionnaire assessment, and my results came out to be a 5, which was so interesting because it was on a scale of 1 to 10, with internal personality type being 0 and external personality type being 10. Mine came out to be a 5, which is in between. But I'm actually going to link that assessment below because I want you guys to take it too. And I want you guys to tell me what your personality type is and how you're going to help yourself take control of your narrative. And so I wanted to leave you guys with that. And also, next month, I will actually be doing a book review and an interview with the author. And I will link all of that information below. I'm so excited for this interview and book review. And I want to continue this journey with you guys on learning how to take control of your narrative, learning how to tune into who you are as a person. And I hope this helps. And let me know if you guys have any questions or concerns or any other things or topics that you want to talk about. I'm happy to bring those topics up and discuss them with you. Good luck, everyone. I hope everyone stays safe with all this COVID-19 stuff, and I wish everyone the best. Take care.